Are older Americans getting screwed? Well, let's talk about that. Because here's what's happening, and if you ask the younger generations, are the older Americans, having a tough time living? They're gonna be like, no. They just got a huge increase in their Social Security benefits, right? They get Medicare, they get food stamps, they get all these additional benefits, right? Well, is that really true? I want to address what's going on and actually talk about who's to blame. Because if you are over the age of 60, do you really feel like things are looking better or worse for you? Let me know down in the comment section below. And I ask this because a handful of community members have said recently, then one person actually said, the US government doesn't care about the older population. And in many cases, that's true. But let's look into this a little bit. First, what has Congress done for older Americans? Have they given you larger Social Security benefits? The answer is yes and no. They have helped contribute to higher inflation, which does help push up the cost of living adjustment for the following year. But as for giving you an increase on your Social Security benefits, have they done that? No, they haven't done that. President Biden has even said that, before he was president, he said that he was going to give Social Security beneficiaries $200 per month. Has that even been in the discussions lately? No. Not by the president himself, by lawmakers, by representatives in the House, not by many senators. So really, is Congress doing everything that they can? Well, I don't know. Has Congress even tried to expand Medicare like they said they would do back in 2021? Well, they tried in 2021. It wasn't going to happen. And so no, they pretty much gave up. They were not able to pass a bill that included things like vision, and hearing and even dental. They talked about sending an $800 stimulus check to those that qualified. Well, $800 wasn't going to cover all these costs, because the truth is $800 wouldn't cover hearing aids and dentures and glasses. Yeah, good luck on that. And you'd think that more is going to be coming, right? There'd be more assistance coming to help for those that are in need. Well, that's not necessarily the case. But what else has been done for older Americans? And what will Congress do next? Well, according to multiple financial reports, handing $80 billion over to the IRS is only going to cause more people to get audited. There's a good chance that that's going to include those on Social Security. And one way to ensure that Social Security lasts longer, and I thought this was absurd, but it was actually coming from a reputable source. One of the ways to ensure that Social Security does last longer is to make sure that the people that are still working prior to reaching full retirement age, that they're not collecting all their benefits if they're making too much money by working. And so what can they do about that? Well, the IRS and the Social Security Administration can work together to make sure that people that should not be collecting the full benefits don't get it. Again, it's a major concern, but that's kind of what's happening. And so right now, what we're seeing is there's a lot of people that are worried that not only the IRS, but the U.S. government in general is pretty much going to target the lower income and middle income households. And for most people, that includes those on Social Security. But think about this for a moment, okay? I want to talk about this. Because right now what we're seeing is there are discussions of additional assistance programs out there for those that are on Social Security. The problem is that as more and more programs become available, prices are still going up. And I've talked about this pretty much nonstop over the past few weeks, is that prices continue to climb. Even though we are seeing inflation drop from 9.1% down to 8.5%, that's good news. The problem is there's still so many different increases that we're seeing. One of them is food. Second one, rent. Third one, property taxes. These are major issues, because what do older Americans pay for? They pay for food. Most of them either pay for a rent or they own their home. And if you own your home, you got to pay for property taxes. So either way, you're still going to get hit. And that's making it very difficult to live. But let's talk about food for a second, because this is one of the questions I get all the time is, okay, if I collect Social Security benefits, am I still able to get food stamps? The answer is yes. And what we saw over this past year is millions of Americans got food stamps. They got the cost of living adjustment of 5.9%, which was pretty substantial. But with that substantial boost came a lower amount of benefits for food. So even though you got food stamps and you have some, your cost of living adjustment is increasing, the problem there is if you make too much money, they lower your amount of benefits on SNAP, on EBT. Well, we see this all the time. And I know we're going to get this even more in 2023 because right now the expectation is we're going to see the cost of living adjustment up over 9%. And if we see the cost of living adjustment up over 9% for 2023, guess what? If you are currently getting benefits, food stamps, guess what? Chances are your benefits are going to drop because you're going to get between $150 to probably $160 per month extra. Yeah, for the cost of living adjustment. So just keep that in mind because right now the worry is that too many people are not going to be able to make it simply on their own. This is going to lead to many trying to use credit cards just to survive. I've talked to many people, a lot of them here in the comment section, most are over in the emails. And one of the things that older Americans are saying is the issue they have is they're spending a little bit on credit. They're taking their credit card, they swipe it when they go to the store and put gas in and do all this stuff. And it's going up a little bit here and there, maybe $100, $200 per month. But the issue there is if you cannot pay it off every single month, it's just one of those recurring debts. You got to keep on looking at this. And let's say 6 months goes by and you haven't really been able to pay it down. You just keep making your payment. Well, the problem is if you are spending $200 a month every single month and then 6 months go by, that means you would have spent $1,200. That $1,200 needs to be paid back. But if you cannot pay it back because you don't have the money, well, it creates an issue. And then the interest starts to eat at you. It starts to eat away. You paying off your bill. The majority is going to interest. It's barely going to the principal pay down. And it's like, oh my God, it never stops. So again, this is why older Americans are getting screwed. If we continue to see inflation, which most experts anticipate we're going to have inflation up at least over 7, potentially 8% for the rest of 2022. That's an additional, 3.5 months. So over the next 3.5 months, we're still going to see inflation fairly high, up over 7, 8%. My guess is right about 8%. And if that's the case, millions of Americans are still going to have a tough time affording medicine, rent, food, gasoline. And yeah, gasoline is going down in price, but at the same time, it's still more expensive than it was 2 years ago. And that's what everyone's looking at. So if you guys have any questions on what's going on and how I could potentially help you, let me know. You can always ask your questions down in the comment section below. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.